especially for Texas, which is Coinbase announcing that they are going to reincorporate in Texas. Coinbase making big headlines this morning with this announcement. The Texas Blockchain Council, and you and I, Lee, of course, for years have been kind of envisioning something like this happening. Exciting to welcome them to the state of Texas. I wanted to invite you to give a little background that, it feels like a big announcement today, but it's been years in the making, right? And fortunately, we've had a small part in that, I think it's fair to say, particularly yourself. Give us a little bit of perspective. Take a victory lap. How are you feeling?
Yeah, it's quite surreal. So in 2019, when I founded the Texas Blockchain Council, Texas was viewed as a bit of a backwater. So the Brookings Institute saying that Texas was a laggard in digital asset policy and the regulatory environment was not right here for folks to move. Fast forward to 2025, and that is very different. We see many of these exchanges have domiciled here, and of course, now Coinbase, the largest in the country, reincorporating in Texas from Delaware, which is a pretty traditional place to be incorporated. A lot of things play into that, right? Governor Abbott has been at the forefront of making this push. Of course, we saw in the 88th legislative session that Texas passed business courts. So that's similar to Delaware's chancellery courts to specifically litigate business issues and create case law here in these Texas business courts, which makes a lot of companies and their boards more comfortable with a Texas incorporation. And then we have even stronger signals from the legislature, like Senate Bill 21, and even bills before that and the years before that, that have ensured that the market signal is clear. Texas is open for business and digital finance as well. Senate Bill 21 obviously was the Texas Strategic Bitcoin Reserve Bill that Texas became the first state to actually allocate money to buying Bitcoin for the reserve.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
And I want to read a post from the CEO of Coinbase, Brian Armstrong, that touches on that a little bit. He said this morning, Coinbase has always been about increasing economic freedom, and this factors into the state where we choose to incorporate. Texas has a strong culture of celebrating builders who are growing our economy, creating prosperity for all. They've also embraced crypto, as you just pointed out. By this metric, it was an easy choice. And he finishes, thank you, Governor Greg Abbott, for your leadership. And that's worth highlighting because this makes sense for them as a company. It's about more than just crypto, but as it pertains particularly to the digital asset industry, there's been such an incredible evolution of Texas really being a leader and embracing that innovation, and just a big day, step forward and continuing that leadership. I also want to read from a Wall Street Journal article that digs a little bit more into this. I think it sheds some more light around what went into this and why it's not just kind of like a vibe, Texas is exciting. No, there are really concrete reasons that this made sense for Coinbase and is a harbinger of a lot more to come for corporations from all different kinds of industries that are seeing real problems in Delaware and other jurisdictions. I'll read from the Wall Street Journal article. Coinbase, the largest U.S.-based cryptocurrency platform, has filed with the Securities and Exchange Commission Wednesday that it is leaving Delaware. We are reincorporating in Texas. This is written by the chief legal officer of Coinbase. As it becomes more of an attractive hub for innovative companies like ours. It's a shame that it has come to this, but Delaware has left us with little choice. As a lawyer who's practiced for many years on King Street in Wilmington, I'm saddened by the need to depart. For decades, Delaware was known for predictable court outcomes, respect for the judgment of corporate boards, and speedy resolutions. These traits made the state the one-stop shop for many major corporations, which have brought in more than $1 billion a year in annual revenue. Delaware's legal framework once provided companies with consistency, but no more. He continues, we're ambitious. We believe we can drive forward our mission rapidly if given fair conditions. Our decision to leave is about ensuring more predictable opportunities for the company, our shareholders, our customers, and the new on-chain ecosystem we're building. Says Texas offers efficiency and predictability, in part thanks to the recent corporate law reforms that enhance governance flexibility and legal predictability. He specifically mentions here, Senate Bill 29 modernized the Texas Business Organizations Code to codify the business judgment rule, which rightly empowers directors and officers to make the business decisions they need to innovate. Delaware wasn't always the go-to choice for companies. At one point, it was New Jersey. At another point, it was New York. We've reached another inflection point in corporate law. The more states that can credibly attract companies, the better. and we'd like to see Delaware step up to stay in the mix. But as for Coinbase, you can find us in Texas. It's a great finish. Yeah, that's worth a golf clap. And I want to talk a little more about SB 29 because he specifically cites this. And again, this is around the importance of people understanding that it's not just grabbing headlines. It's not just a single political figure. It's real legal differences about what it means to domicile a corporation in a particular place. SB 29 was authored and primarily led by Senator Brian Hughes in the Texas Senate. It passed unanimously out of committee on both the Senate and House side, passed broadly bipartisan on both. So you had a few no votes, but broadly bipartisan. I think that's important to highlight that this isn't just a Texas Republican thing, though that is where the leadership came from. But overall, this was a coalition of what I would describe as common sense winning in Texas. The law went into effect just in May. Just in May of this year, it modernizes the Texas Business Organizations Code to make Texas a top destination for business formation and governance. For formation, it ensures Texas law exclusively governs domestic entities like corporations and LLCs. It streamlines filing processes and allows flexible governing documents. In governance, I think this is where it's really important. In governance, it codifies the business judgment rule, shielding directors and managers from liability for good faith decisions, and permits waivers of certain voting requirements. For internal management, it introduces exclusive Texas venue clauses, jury trial waivers, and stricter rules for derivative lawsuits and records inspection, reducing litigation risks. I think this is what was really driving this. At the end of the day, you have these frivolous lawsuits. People get bogged down in all kinds of disputes that are detrimental to the core business and really don't empower shareholders all that much because so often these come from people that own barely anything in a company. Whereas the great majority of shareholders are not trying to bring these frivolous lawsuits. That's a lot of what you see in this evolution in Texas around why companies are saying this is the right time to make a move, even though Delaware's kind of reigned supreme for so long. SB 29, there's a lot more to be talked about in this bill. It's only been in law for a couple of months now. We applaud Coinbase making headlines on this. I think it's the first of many more to come, and that's a good thing, not just for Texas, but for the whole country, to put an end to this ridiculous failure that is the Delaware system that squandered a great opportunity that they had in terms of leading in this area and provided an opportunity for Texas to step up. That's what democracy is all about, having 50 different states, having competition, and allowing someone to step up and provide a solution for businesses.
Yeah, Delaware got a little complacent, right? So that happens when you've been on top for many decades, as they have, and Texas is going to reap the benefits of it. Same as we talked about last week with the election of Mondami in New York. Dallas, in particular, is going to be reaping the benefits of it. So what I think is Jim Lee, the CEO of the Texas Stock Exchange, is reading the headlines today and reading this op-ed in the Wall Street Journal.
Big smile.
Has a big smile on his face, and he's seeing these thoughts and concepts that he has elucidated over the years coming from the pen of Paul Graywall, the chief legal officer of Coinbase.
Yeah, really amazing to see this. We plan on covering this a lot more and bringing a lot more